to Gardening Young. So today is the day that you guys have all been waiting for, at least hopefully. We are going to be doing canning 101 in a sense today, and I'm super excited. I have my Nana, Janet, here with me today, and of course my lovely sister, Lydia. And today we are just going to be showing you how to can, all the things you need to know, and we're so excited. So let's just hop right into this video. So the first thing we want to show you guys and point out to you guys is the difference between two different methods of canning, which would be pressure canning, which here is our pressure canner here, and water bath canning, which is behind us, which is kind of different from the pressure canner, which my Nana will now explain.
Well, we're starting out today with the water bath canning because it's a little bit easier than the pressure canning. All of them are easy, and I just wanted to say that this is really fun. But the water bath is used for things like jellies and jams, and for vegetables or fruit that has acid in it, a lot of acid. So what we're going to do today is tomatoes. There they are. And they do have acid in them, but over the years the different varieties of tomatoes have changed, and there's some that they're grown just so they have more acid or less acid, and it's hard to know that. So we're going to add a little bit of acid to our tomatoes, and that's going to be the lemon juice. And you can do those things that I've said, vegetables that have acid. You can also do things that you cook ahead of time and then seal it with the water bath. Like one of my favorites is apple butter, and you can put the apple butter and cook it in your crock pot, and then you can put it into the jars and put it into the water bath to seal it. The important thing about all of these methods is that we want to be very, very clean. We want to wash our hands. We want to sterilize our utensils. We want to sterilize the bottles, sterilize the caps and the rims. We want all of that sterilized. We can use the bottles and the rims over and over and over again, but this, once it's sealed once, you don't want to use it again, so you just throw that away when you're through. In the pressure cooker, it's like the pressure canner, it's like a pressure cooker if you've had one, and it has steam that gets it makes it cook quickly, and you can do things in the pressure canner like green beans and lima beans and different things that aren't as acidic as the ones that you do in the water bath.
So there's a few tools that are really important whenever you're canning that you want to make sure that you have on hand. Some of these tools you can find at your local hardware store, but you just kind of have to look around to try to find these things. Like a couple of these things we really had to search for to find. Okay, so one of those tools is obviously your jars. But jars are not just jars. They come in many different sizes and with many different mouths. So there's a few things that you're going to need to know and sizes when it comes to jars. You have your pint jars, which you can see here. Then you have your quart jars, which you can see here. Then you have your gallon jars, which we don't have here. But those are just some of your basic sizes, which we have just our quart and our pint today because that's what we're going to be using. Then you have some jars you'll see which are like little pretty jars, which you don't want to put in your canners because they will break. They are not made to hold the pressure and the heat of the canner, but the other thing that's super duper important is to make sure you get name brands like Ball, for example. Or there's other companies, I can't remember it's Rec Jars. I've also heard those are really good. I think those are overseas, that's an overseas company, but that's another one, so Ball and Rec Jars. But other than that, off-brand jars, just kind of stay away because they will break in the canner. So you don't want to do anything that's off-brand. I know they're a little pricier, but it is worth it, trust me. So the other thing that's really important is you have your regular mouth, which we'll be using a funnel, which she will explain in a minute, to get our stuff in. And then you have your wide mouth, which my Nana prefers a lot more, and I prefer a lot more just because it's a lot easier to get your stuff into. So you have your wide mouth, which you can see here, and your regular mouth, which you can see here. And then you have your, this is our pint jar, and pint jars also come with regular mouth and wide mouth. We just got the wide mouth because, again, we prefer it. So that's what we're going to be using today.
We have a lot of tools that are for safety, and then some that are just helpful. And this one is one of the ones that's very, very important for safety. It's when your jars have cooked and it's still very, very hot. You can take it, oh, I'm sorry, I'm doing it wrong. You can take it and put it over it and lift it out without getting burned. It holds really well. I don't take them all the way across the room and put them somewhere, but they do hold really well. This is really handy especially with tomatoes, to get into when you have cored and peeled your tomatoes and they're maybe kind of warm. You can do this and then have your funnel right there and pour your tomatoes into it that way.
Which will make a lot more sense whenever we do it, which we will show you.
This is my new fun thing, and it is, it's really handy. This part of it will help you when you're packing in your tomatoes, specifically, to go around the edge and get them down into the jar. Because if you don't pack in your tomatoes really well, then you'll have a bunch of juice and some tomatoes floating up here, because that's what will happen to it. So you want to pack them in. This will release any bubbles that are there, so that you can get them really in there. Now on the other end, when you are trying to you have to sterilize all these things. So you keep these lids and rims in hot water. We've already got that going now. And then this has got a magnet on the end of it. So instead of having to stick your hand in there, you just bring the magnet down and pick up these jar lids and that too. And that's so great. I've never had one of these till this year, and we found it. And I'm so excited because that's going to be so good.
Okay, so these are tongs, and what you really use them for is you had to scald the tomatoes, and so it's handy to be able to move them around and pick them up while they're while it's really hot. So this is kind of also a safety thing. So the big knives are so that you can chop your tomatoes to make them the size you want to put in your jar when you're ready to put them in. And then you also need these pointed knives, which help you to core the tomatoes when you're ready to core them.
There are a couple more things that you need to have for sure when you're canning, and one of them is this is the lift that you can put into your water bath, and it helps you get things out. You fill it up. You can put 7 quarts or 7 pints in this thing, and it'll help you be able to lift it up out of the water very carefully. So you can do 7 at a time, or you can do less. You don't have to do it all, full. And then the other thing is you need, and you will use a lot of towels, and that's to put under things and to wipe lids off and all the things. You just need a lot of these. And this one's very appropriate since it's going to be the 4th of July soon.
Okay, so now that you've got all the basics, you've got the tools, you've got the different types of canners, now we want to just kind of take you along in the process of doing those things. So right now we are going to be just doing and canning a bunch of tomatoes. So we just want to take you guys along in that process, kind of show you. It'll probably be a lot of time lapse, but hopefully this will help you, and we just kind of want to take you along in that process. So let's go. So like I just showed you, we have all of our ripe ones because we bought a box that like half was kind of unripe and half was. So all of the ones in the sink are the ones that are ripe, and we just kind of filled the sink up to wash them all really, really well. And then the ones over here that I showed you are the ones that are unripe, and we're gonna kind of let them ripen and then do them tomorrow. So we're gonna kind of like split it up in batches, do the first batch today and the second batch tomorrow, so that we can let those finish ripening. So basically what we just did there was we threw scalding hot water onto the tomatoes, and what was the reason for that, Anna?
We're good. It'll make them easy to peel.
So it'll make them really easy to peel so that we can then cut them up and put them into the jars. Okay, so for everyone that's kind of confused or you need some explaining to do, what we did was after we poured the really hot water over the tomatoes in the sink, basically what we did, right, and Lydia's going, yeah, you can go ahead and do it. So once she poured the scalding water, once she poured the scalding water over, yes, over the tomatoes, like she's doing now, then we put it in cold water, And after you put it in cold water, then it makes it really easy to peel, and you just peel the skins off. Which if you have a compost pile, you can put your peeled skins into your compost pile. And then what I was showing you is my Nana is now over here coring. So you basically just take the little core out and you cut it up. In the footage, she didn't have her cutting board yet, so she just used her hand. Don't recommend that, but it was just because we have limited space, so that's what's going on. But now she's got her cutting board, so we're all good. So now we are going to finish up our chores of peeling and coring, and I will see you. She said it's not chores, it's fun. Whenever we finish that up, I will see you when we start putting stuff in jars, and we'll explain all that. Okay, so basically what we have started to do is we put a teaspoon of salt in each jar, and then we're gonna start packing all the tomatoes in. The other thing that I forgot to mention is technically today we are going to be doing cold packing, which is just a different method of canning. Basically it just means that we're not going to cook the tomatoes at all whenever we put them in. It's just uncooked food that we're canning. But then whenever you're, regular canning, I guess you cook it. So it's just a different type of canning, but I just wanted to clarify that we're not cooking the tomatoes at all. We're just kind of putting it in with with the salt and the lemon juice. So that's the update. What did you want to say, Nana?
I was going to put the lemon juice on top.
Right.
When I finish packing.
Right, well, and we'll show that. Alright, so here are all of the cored and sliced tomatoes that my Nana has done. Now we're going to use our funnel to, well, this is a wide mouth. Do you need the funnel?
That's fine, yeah.
We're going to use the funnel to take all of the tomatoes and pack them, pack them into the jars, and I will just show you that now. Okay guys, so we have all of our jars filled here. We have 7 jars filled, which is what this thing holds. So Nana, explain what we're gonna do next.
So now we're going to put the acid in, which is lemon juice. We're going to put in 2 tablespoons of lemon juice in the top. I put the salt in the bottom because it'll soak it up, but I think the lemon juice does better from the top. So here we go. We're going to put 2 tablespoons in each one of those.
All right, let's go. Okay, Nana, explain what's going on.
We have the lids and the rims, and we've had them boiling, and now we're letting them just stay hot. And we've been heating this up, not to boiling yet, because we don't want to put those jars, which won't be hot right now into really hot and make them crack. So we wait, and we're keeping it warm so it won't take too long to come up to boiling. Then we'll start our water bath, and that'll be 85 minutes. This is a very important part of the canning process is this is a clean rag, and we have to wipe off the lids of the jars, the rims of the jars really, really well. Make sure there's no pieces of tomato or salt or anything that's on the rim, or anything liquid either, so that when we put the lids on, they'll make a good seal. So that's really important.
Cool part. So you lift this up. This is your magnetic part right here.
Good job.
And you set it right on there.
Rim.
Wait, does the rim go in the canner?
Does the rim go in the can?
Yeah.
I'll just put it right
Don't burn yourself.
there. It's okay. It's not too bad. And then you can use this to
Twist it. But you also have that thing that you can use to. Oh, well, that's not to twist it. That's to pick the jars
Explain
don't
that.
push those down, because
So there's a
that's
lump.
part of the sealing. There's a lump right there. Don't push it down.
Okay, so as you can see, we have all of our jars in the water bath canner, and then whenever it comes to a boil, we will put the lid on top, and it's gonna go for 85 minutes, as you can see on the whiteboard. So that's basically what's gonna go on. And then the other thing that we are going to be making and canning is zucchini relish. I don't know if I will film that or not, but that's one of the things that we are going to make.
It'll be a water
So,
bath,
it will also be a water bath. It's a recipe that my Nana has made in the past and she really loves. So we're gonna be doing that. So yeah, I will see you guys whenever these are done. Okay, so as you can see, they're out of the canner, and so now we are just going to let them sit and kind of cool down. And as you can see, this really weird thing is the liquid kind of settled, like the lemon juice and stuff, kind of settled at the bottom, which is funny, but they look cool, so. That's good. Okay, so basically, I think like 2 or 3 of them have popped. Basically, the little air bubble in the middle will pop, and then you have to let it sit untouched for 24 hours. So this is at my Nana's, in my Nana's kitchen. So we're gonna leave it here. I have to leave, go back to my house, but I'm gonna leave it here, come back a few days from now, take it home. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. I hope this is helpful, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.